Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1895, and today's date is June 17th, 2019, and the title of the episode is The Central Bank and Deep State Pushing Recession, Rate Cuts Won't Help, Think Mirror. So I have a question for you. Are we looking at the start of the next stock market crash? You can see that it has been a long upward run for stocks, but recently the market has started to topple. The big question is, how far will the market fall? And during this time, Noble Gold, they have been getting their clients to buy precious metals as a hedge against their pension funds losing massive chunks of their investments. If you're worried about another market crash, give them a call at 877-646-5347 and make sure you mention X22 Report or click the link below. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we know that the central bank, the deep state, they cannot have Trump win the election in 2020. We can see already with the polls and what the deep state, what the central banks they're trying to do is they're trying to show that Trump is losing now to Biden and many others. What else are they trying to do? They're trying to build the narrative that the economy will be going into a recession either at the end of this year or in 2020. Now, the reason they're doing this is because the economy, well, whoever controls the narrative of the economy will win the election. And right now, Trump is controlling the narrative of the economy. The deep state, the central bank, they still believe they have some control. They still believe that they will be able to use their system to bring the economic system down or make people believe that we're in a recession. Even though the government doesn't report a recession, they're trying to control the narrative to make people believe that we are entering a recession. Now, statistically, we know that Trump has the magic wand and he's making the economy look great. He's using all their weapons against themselves. This is what they've done in the past. And they've told us, when I say they, it's the mainstream media, the deep state, the central bank. They were always out there telling us, no, there's no recession. There's nothing. It looks great. The economy's great. Look at the stock market. Look at the unemployment. Look at GDP. Everything looks fantastic. Meanwhile, people are losing jobs left and right. The housing market's declining and everyone's trying to figure out what is going on here. Trump is doing the same thing. He's using every single piece of weaponry that they used against them. Now they're trying to turn it all around. Now they're trying to make it seem like we are already in a recession, even though the government doesn't report it. Now, this is part of their plan. This is part of their narrative. And they're even saying that even if the Fed cuts rates, it's not going to make a difference. We're going to be in a recession no matter what. And we don't even think the Fed is going to cut rates. This is their plan. This is all they have left. They have nothing else left to use. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think the Fed's going to cut rates? Absolutely. Do you think they're going to start stimulus? Absolutely. Does this mean it's going to happen this Wednesday? Maybe, maybe not. I think time is running out. I think sooner the better. I think Trump will need this time to build the economy up. But again, they know better. It will happen. We don't know the exact timing, but it will happen. Why? Because it has to. Because when we look at the central bank economy, and we've been looking at this for a very long time, this has nothing to do with tariffs, has nothing to do with anything. The central bank system is imploding on itself because this is how it is designed. When we look at homes, when we look at retail, when we look at the real unemployment numbers, when we look at the Cass Freight Index, the durable goods offers, manufacturing, when we start to look at all these indicators, we know that it's been slowing for a very long time. If we look at U.S. home builders' sentiment, well, that's beginning to drop already. And we normally don't see this during the spring, summer months. Usually, the home builders are very happy when the warm weather comes because they can sell homes. But for the first time in 2019, sentiment among U.S. home builders dropped in June, even though there are lower mortgage rates. Well, I think we need to bring them a little bit lower. Remember what we talked about in the past. Lower the rate brings more people into the market. Trump knows this. Trump understands that he needs to cut rates quickly, or everything will completely implode. And I do believe he has the magic wand. I do believe this is already planned out. We have Morgan Stanley out there. They're saying that the world is already in a recession. Yes, it has been for a very long time. The central bank system is dying off. This is what it looks like. Doesn't matter if there was tariffs or there were no tariffs. It doesn't matter what anyone was doing. The central bank system would implode on itself. That's just the way it's designed. But they're trying to make it seem like this has to do with Trump's tariffs. Now, what's going to happen is Xi and Trump most likely will meet at the G20 meeting. We're already getting signs of that. And they will hammer out a deal. And tariffs will be removed. The entire argument of the central bank, of the deep state, their whole thing will go down the toilet. They won't have anything to hide behind anymore, which means they're completely exposed. And when we look at what is happening here, we already know that the central bank system is really in a recession. We already know that they've been kicking the can down the street for a very long time. We already know that Trump needs to kick the can down past the 2020 election. And when you look at some of the headlines from CNBC, MSNBC, CNN, you can see how they're trying to control this entire narrative. CNBC, if a recession hits, even Fed rate cuts won't be enough to stop it. CNN, America's CFOs are bracing for a 2020 recession. MSNBC, watch your wallet. Is Trump's trade war leading to a recession? I mean, it's quite obvious what they're trying to do here. They're trying to create this narrative that what Trump has done is bringing us right into a recession. The problem is all these articles are going to be wrong. As soon as the Fed cuts rates, as soon as the Fed initiates stimulus, which will happen at the latter part of this year, everything will turn around. We've seen it before. Let's go back to the recession of 2008, 2009. The Fed went ahead and raised rates. They raised them, and then when it hit a critical point and it started the implosion of the entire system, they started to drop rates. And this was around 2006, 2007. And they dropped them very quickly. And the recession happened in 2008, 2009. If you go back to 2000, 2001, they raised the interest rates. When it hit that critical mass, they dropped the interest rates very, very quickly. If you go back to the other recessions, it's the same exact thing. I do believe that Trump stopped it before they hit the critical mass. Because if it hit the critical mass, everything would just implode and there'd be nothing to stop it. And I do believe that Trump put a pause to this right before it hit that critical mass. And now he'll be able to lower the rates using the Fed and starting stimulus once again to pump the system up. This has to be done. If it isn't done and the economy actually heads into a recession, well, guess what? Trump would be in trouble. They know this. The Patriots know this. This is why they put a pause to the Fed raising rates during 2019. Because they knew if the Fed continued this through 2019, the system would implode. Now, something very interesting. Xi Jinping, he will be visiting North Korea for 2 days, and this is the first time a Chinese leader visited North Korea in 14 years. Remember, Xi Jinping has control of Kim Jong-un. We know that Kim Jong-un has a very good relationship with Trump. I do believe Xi is boxed in right now. And Xi most likely will be trying to save face somehow by going to Kim Jong-un, working something out, and then meeting Trump at the G20 meeting. And once they do meet, I'm sure they're going to hash something out. Now, will it be announced at the G20 that there is a deal? Maybe, maybe not. But I do believe a short period of time after the G20, if it's not announced on the G20, they will announce that they've made a deal. Remember, Trump boxed in China right now. I do believe they have a framework already worked out, and I do believe this is being done on purpose to go after the central bank system, because I don't think one country can take down the entire central bank apparatus. I believe Trump, the Patriots, are going to need help from China, from Russia, and many other countries to bring down the central bank system. But what we're watching right now, we're watching the deep state, the central bank, their last-ditch effort to try to control the narrative going into the 2020 election, because impeachment didn't work. This is not going to work. And we know, we have that story from the New York Times where they're saying that the United States is cyber attacking the power grid of Russia. Now, is that going to work? No. Basically, the central bank, the deep state, they're all completely exposed right now. And there is no way out of this. And since they're exposed and now they're forced from behind the curtain to be in front of the curtain, Trump and many other leaders are going to be pointing the finger at the central bank. Think about what is happening around the world. Think about Italy. Think about the UK. Think about Australia. Think about all these countries where the elite are losing. The central bank stooges are losing. And patriots are filling their position. They're going to band together. They're going to go after the central bank apparatus because they realize and they understand they're the cause of all of this. If we look back in history, this is what the founding fathers never wanted to happen. They never wanted a private corporation to handle the economy of the people. They wanted the people to handle their own system because they knew if a central bank came in, and this is why there was Central Bank 1, Central Bank 2, and then the Federal Reserve. And this is why the Central Bank 1 and Central Bank 2 were removed. Because every time they remove it, the central bank tries to come back later on. They knew that it damages the economy, it damages the people, and it is not a benefit to the people. And now we have Trump, we have the Patriots, we have other patriots around the world ready to go after the central bank system once again. They've been in power for a very long time, and it's time to take them down. And the central bank system has grown like we've never seen before. Before, when you had a central bank in the United States would be able to handle it. But now, the central bank has grown around the world, and they have larger, more powerful entities. And this is why you need countries coming together to go after these entities. And we're seeing it happen in real time. And you can see how this is going to play out after the 2020 elections. Because once Trump is in the office and wins the election in 2020, guess what? There'll be nothing to stop the patriots. And they'll be going full force to go after the central bank, to go after the rest of the individuals, to clean everything up. And the central bank, like I've said before, this is going to be a difficult task, and Trump is going to need help from other patriots around the world. And I think all of this is forming right now. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.